Welcome back to Professional Wrestling, the podcast. We've been asking for him. We've been clamoring for him. He's finally back. The man behind the podcast. My co-pilot today and for the next couple of weeks. He's the one, the only, Mason Rush.
Feels good to be back. It looks a little different than where we normally sit, where we normally do our podcast, but I like it.
It's time to grow, buddy. It's time to grow. When we get the call and we're like, you know what? We're getting up in the world and we got to do in different locations. That's how we're going to do it. So we got Mason Rush, the wrestler. We got Jonathan Hacohen, author, lawyer, podcaster, wrestling manager. We are so set to go. Are you feeling it?
I was barely holding it in on my way here, I have to say. It was good. Excited.
Well, let's give a couple shout outs to our sponsors as we begin today, because we always got to do those, right? So first of all, to our Bible 3.0 book here. We're all looking for life answers, right? We're chasing life answers. What's the purpose of life? How do we get the best chosen life possible? The answers in the Bible 3.0, 6 Commandments of Chosen Life, available Amazon, Indigo, Barnes & Noble.
What?
Wherever you're doing it, and you're buying your books, including Audible. It's available as an audiobook as well. Bible 3.0. Check it out. And I heard the author is willing to give an autograph if he sees you on the street. And of course, for your car needs, Jeremiah at the Rect, big sponsor today. And get this, Mason, you ready for this one?
Tell me.
You see advertisements. We got big sales going on. Okay, they're going to kill me. But you know what? I'm going to do it anyways. You give the promo code Mason Rush and you hit up Jeremiah at the Rect, you're saving $17,000 on a Nissan Armada, Canadian dollars. The code Mason Rush.
17,000?
17,000 off a car. You're getting a brand new Armada. You're pimping it up in the luxury ride of your dreams. And all because you just said the promo code Mason Rush. Boom.
You'd be stupid not to.
Seriously.
That's like they're paying you to drive an
They're
Armada.
practically handing you the car.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Say no more.
You won't even feel those payments. So Jeremiah at the Rect is your guy. Go on Instagram. Nail him up for a DM. He's ready to go.
Bad credit. No credit at all.
He'll find a way. Reach out to Jeremiah at the Rect, our sponsor. So, Mason Rush, tell me, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, that's a great question. We haven't met in a while. It's been a few weeks. You've been spoiled with Van Landen. Those were fantastic episodes. Great jobs of that. And hopefully we can have half as good a show as that. But there's a lot to talk about. Let's start off with Cody Rhodes, perhaps.
Okay, Mace. So I'm there at WrestleMania 40, right? I'm there with Jeremiah at the Rect and the producer of this show. So all three of us are there. One of us was cheering and two of us were crying when Cody wins the belt. I was crying, I'll admit it. And I got to tell you, 5 seconds into his victory, I'm already fast asleep and bored of him as a champion. And as the weeks have gone by, and he keeps asking me what I want to talk about, what I don't want to talk about anymore is Cody with no opponents, no hope of a rivalry at all. Is anything going to be happening with this man until The Rock and or Roman Reigns resurface? What do you think?
I think we're going to see a lot of what we're currently seeing, which is who's the current big name, who's the current guy that'll sell the most tickets, the current, big time moment guy of the moment. That's who's going to be the new guy for Cody Rhodes every time. I don't think we're going to have a huge story, a huge storyline play out until Roman is back, and then at least there's something worth watching. But we got Logan Paul coming up next, and it'll be a nice match. It'll be cool. Lots of Prime sponsorships everywhere. But again, in terms of an actual quality match, a quality feud, I don't see it coming until the big return.
My sources have been quite adamant about this, that they're hearing a little bit of whispers. What they're saying is the Cody that they like is the Cody that's behind, the Cody that has to chase, that has a purpose. Cody the champion now is sitting on the top, and it just feels like there's no real purpose. There's nothing going on. There's no struggle. He's just happy, come in, come out, and face an opponent. Oh, will this person face off against Cody, and is there a chance? No, there's no chance. They're not taking the belt off of him. So somehow he needs to be double-crossed. He's to be swindled out of that belt, and we need Cody rechasing again. This will reinvigorate it, and then he can get back his belt. So the predictions, according to the sources, are 6 to 9 months. The belt is gone for sure. Cody's going to win it back shortly after. Your thoughts, Mason Rush?
That's an interesting one. I think Cody's going to hold it for a little bit longer. I don't think there's a reason to give up. I think they spent 2 years working this story. I don't think it's a Becky situation where it's kind of a transitional hold the belt till somebody either wins it or the old champ comes back. I think he'll hold it a little longer than that because, like we always talk about, he brings in a demographic that Roman Reigns does not bring in, right? That LA Knight does not bring in. He brings in kids, right? He brings in you go to the show, you bring your kid, they're probably going to see Cody Rhodes, right? They love the show, the fireworks, the costumes. Even though, what do you want to talk about, right? To a kid, I'm sure that's a little more appealing than us who are like, we don't want to talk to you anymore. Bring a real champion. I think the numbers, the merch sales show that Cody is a worthwhile champion, even though he's not so great to guys like you and I, because we don't really believe the whole, charade kind of thing. That's what I think. But in terms of holding a belt, I don't think there's anyone who's going to come in and take him for it. They'll just have a lot of build-ups with, someone they want to push, and then he'll end up beating them until Roman, The Rock come back, and there's a whole feud there.
I'm thinking back in my day, which is before your day. So, you're, let's say, a little bit. Like, you're playing with your Hot Wheels cars, and I'm in university. This is where we're at in life. So it is what it is. That being said, I look back on my day, and on my day, it was the Hulkster. It was Hulkamania running wild, back in the 80s, 90s, when I think back fondly. And I feel like WWF turned WWE has been on this chase to find the next Hulk Hogan. And it all started with Lex Luger, the American Express or whatever the heck they called him. And they're constantly looking for that face. Then you come to the Attitude Era, and you have the John Cenas of this world, and the Stone Colds, and The Rock, and Kurt Angle. And they all, they were faces / heels / hybrids, but they have a little bit of edge to them. And it feels like now in this, let's call it the politically correct world we're in. And so in this politically correct world of ours, we need a politically correct champion. And so I feel like they're trying to go back to the Hulkster era and trying to have that ultimate face, that non-ambiguous face. And it doesn't seem for me to have the charisma of Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania running wild, transcending. Hulkster was big. He's on every single talk show, every single cartoon. Like, this guy was everywhere. He was the biggest star in the world. Don't see Cody Rhodes anywhere near that level. Yes, he's the face of the company. He looks good on the side of the truck as he's driving down the highway. But I don't think he has the power and the oomph and the je ne sais quoi of a Hulk Hogan. And I don't know if we're ever going to see another Hulk Hogan. What do you think?
I don't think we're ever going to see another Hulk Hogan. That goes without saying. I also, from what I've heard, people I've spoken to, other wrestlers, other people in the wrestling community, it is really hard to be a face champion, right? To continuously come out and have that pop and be, it is a lot harder to have a face champ, which is why you see heel champions last forever. Gunther, Roman, right? It's a lot, I don't say easier, but it's a lot, well, I guess it is easier to come out and do that heel gimmick versus constantly be the champion, be the guy everybody's cheering for, the hero, Mr. Nice Guy, right? It's also very easy for a heel to come in and chase a face, right? And that storyline. So when you take a Cody Rhodes, you build it, the good guy, then he finally wins. It's now what, right? What do you do? And I think that's where we are right now in the WWE. It's, you did it, now what?
The Hulkster, one of the things about the Hulkster, this the turning point of the Hulk Hogan, the turning point of wrestling. He's in WWF, right? And he loses the belt. And he loses that oomph. People are like, I don't want to cheer for him anymore. He's really boring me. So he goes to WCW. He still stays with the yellow and red. He's still boring people. People are kind of booing him. They're not booing him as a heel. They're booing him as a boring face. And when he came out in the NWO black and white, and he, paints his beard black, and he spray paints the belt. He doesn't have the chosen belt. He had the WCW belt at the time. He was able to pull it off. And I think of Bailey. Bailey was the ultimate face, the hugger. Then she becomes bad Bailey and she's leading Damage Control. Goes back to face Bailey. She can pull it off. Not everybody can pull off that turn. We've never seen a John Cena heel, because Cena is Cena, fine, you know. The Doctor of Thugonomics, fine. But Cody Rhodes, I don't think he has it in him. I think that at some point the fans are going to turn on him, like they got bored of Hulk Hogan, like they got bored of Cody Rhodes in AEW. I think they're going to get bored of this, what do you want to talk about, and the same shtick all the time. And at some point, you're supposed to take it like a Chad Gable and eventually turn into a monster heel. I don't think he has a monster heel run in him, and that's what separates him from good to greatness. Can you see Cody Rhodes the heel, and can he pull it off? And will he even try?
I think there has to be a heel turn for Cody Rhodes at some point, right? Not only a heel turn, but a heel faction turn. Him leading, whether it's a big faction, small, whatever it is, being a leader, kind of like Edge with Judgment Day kind of thing, right? That was a really good way Edge became a good heel, right? He started a heel group that's still the biggest group in WWE today, right? Judgment Day. I think Cody could do something along those lines as a leader on his own, as a, dark heel. I don't see him carrying that on his own, but a good faction, good costume, good gear. I think Cody could actually do it, and I'm pretty sure in the past he was a heel character in a faction to some degree, more on the indie scene.
See, this is where I could see if we're gonna kind of blow it up, right? And we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna bring the Young Bucks, we're gonna bring Kenny Omega, whoever we're gonna try to bring over from AEW. The only way it's going to work out for them is if they're joining a faction with Cody in WWE, and Cody needs them as much as they need him as far as creating this whole heel faction, in my opinion, respectfully, except that they're going to implode on one another one a day. That's where I see it kind of heading, if it even goes that way. Do you see a world... I know AEW is a sore spot for you, so I apologize ahead of time.
I love AEW. I don't know why. I don't know what this is all about, this haterade on AEW. But I watched it yesterday, actually.
Oh yeah, how was Rampage last week? What day was it on? Right.
Listen, there's 3 WWEs a week. I get 1 AEW. That's pretty fair.
Yeah. Well,
I'd say that's fair. I get a Dynamite.
If you have to watch an AEW or you want to watch Dynamite, definitely it's going to be Dynamite. It's
100%.
Maybe Collision, and good luck in figuring out when Rampage is on, because they change. Sometimes it's preempted, sometimes it follows Collision.
Sometimes it just it goes right in, right from Dynamite right into Rampage.
I pay my $8 a month, and I do it so I can get my Collision and Rampage fix on. And half the time they're not even on anymore.
Christian Cage is worth every penny of that $8.99.
Absolutely.
And Nick Wayne and the whole family.
I lost my father at a young age, and I can tell you Christian Cage would be right there to be the patriarch for me.
I got nothing to say to that one.
So let's turn on the other angle. Cody Rhodes is, I think, kind of just going there neutral. I didn't realize how much I loved watching Roman Reigns, how much I acknowledged him, and you can really feel the drop off without Roman there. I think it's very evident when the music's not playing, nobody's really acknowledging. Roman coming back, they're just saving this up. When Roman comes back, and the word is he's going back face, by the way. But you know what? Face or heel, Roman to me stands out another level than Cody. And Roman, I'm waiting for you, buddy.
Yeah, not only Roman. I mean, you lost in the same amount of time. You lost Roman, you lost Rhea, you lost Seth Rollins, right? Others as well.
The Rock.
The Rock was here or there. Cena was in too. But those, like, you lose arguably the 3 biggest names and draws every single week. That's going to drop for sure, right? 2 of which were your 2 champions. So, and 2 awesome champions. But you hear, I mean, I'm sure you listen every match. You hear, we want Roman, right? Like I hear it almost every episode of Raw, SmackDown, and on the pay-per-view. So it's the crowd wants it, and I don't know if the Vince McMahon era was as good at listening to the fans as this new Triple H era is, because they really do. It is important. So yeah.
Overall, as we're ending today's episode, I got to ask you, Mason Rush, professional wrestler, life guru. You're looking at WWE. We finished off WrestleMania. Okay, we already know WrestleMania 41 is going to be in Las Vegas. Cool. But since we finished WrestleMania and we're watching Raw and SmackDown week to week, is it the same energy or do you feel a drop off? Did the draft make you feel good, not good? Like, where's WWE today? Is it on a rise or do you feel like we're getting kind of stale a bit? What's your take on it?
I think the WWE is really, really good at creating things to make other things seem more important. So yeah, I definitely think there was a drop off. The build up is a year long to WrestleMania. They'll start in 2 weeks from now for Vegas WrestleMania, right? So yeah, no, I think definitely.
My feeling is since UFC has come on board, we have TKO and we have this whole merger and everything. We're in the Triple H era, by the way. No coincidence, since Vince is gone. But you see the camera work. You see the wrestlers walking into the building. They always have the same camera work now. The way they're talking pre-match, they have their vignettes for everybody, and then they jump into the match. You know what? It's a little more cheesy and calculated. But you know what? The camera quality is great. It's a consistent product. I like the fact that they're flowing storylines, slow burns. It's working for me. You know what? I know they're not always my favorite wrestlers, and I'm not always happy where they're going with these 4-way fatal matches and all this garbage. You know what? At the end of the day, WWE still works. Tons of talent, and I'm going with it. I'm happy.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know how to keep their fans engaged. As a lifelong UFC fan, all of these camera shots, all of these announcers as the wrestler walks by the fighter, I've seen it all for years, and it's a direct copy that they're doing, but it does make it seem more like a real sport. The angles, right? It's less of a theatrical production and more of a sporting and entertainment event, which is 100% their goal. So they're achieving that. I still think of that shot with Sami Zayn outside and Jey Uso walking out and then to come in, like the way that they're starting to do that and involve the crowd, involve angles. I think that's great. It's different than AEW, very, and I think I like it. But again, like to your point, it could get cheesy, right? That whole angle could get cheesy. So as long as they stay on a good line and don't overkill it, I think we're okay. I think it'll be good.
I'm Jonathan Hacohen. That's Mason Rush. This has been Professional Wrestling, the podcast. Mason, for your fans, I want to reach out to you with wrestling questions, live questions. Where are they able to reach you at?
Mason Rush 33, or come out to one of the shows, Hamilton Pro Wrestling, Instagram. Check for the next date for the next show. You won't be disappointed.
Amazing. We'll see y'all back real soon on Professional Wrestling.